At my 11th birthday party, the magician leaned down and whispered, "Is your aunt the police officer here today?" I nodded and pointed across the yard to Aunt Rosa, who was standing near the cooler with her dog. The magician's smile stayed painted on, but his eyes went cold. "Come with me for a second," he said, and put a hand on my back. I followed him because he was the entertainment, and I figured he needed help with a trick. We walked past the folding tables loaded with pizza and presents, out to where his gray minivan sat at the curb. He slid the side door open and lifted out a small wrapped box, about the size of a hardcover book. "Give this to your mother. Only your mother," he said quietly. "Don't open it, and whatever you do, don't let your aunt near it." He pressed it into my hands. His voice didn't match the sparkly vest and fake mustache at all. "What is it?" I asked. He just shook his head, climbed into the van, and pulled away before I could say another word. I stood there holding a present that suddenly felt too heavy for its size. I walked back trying to make sense of it. Aunt Rosa spotted me before I reached the gift table. She'd been a cop for 12 years, and even off duty she noticed everything. Her K9, a Belgian Malinois named Bruno, went everywhere she did, even to family cookouts. "Where'd that come from, buddy?" she asked in her nice voice, but her eyes were already scanning the box. "The magician gave it to me," I said, and tried to step around her to find my mom. That's when Bruno lost it. He started barking harder than I'd ever heard, lunging against his leash, his whole body straining toward the box in my arms. Bruno was trained to sniff out drugs, and everyone at the party turned to look. Kids stopped mid-game. "Let me see that, sweetheart," Aunt Rosa said, and her voice had dropped into the flat, serious one that even adults obey. I held on tighter, because the magician had said not to let her near it, but Bruno was snarling now, and my parents were already hurrying over. A couple of the other parents were quietly pulling their kids back toward the house. My birthday was turning into something out of a crime show. "It's just a present," I said. "He told me to give it to Mom." I tried one more time to get past her. Aunt Rosa crouched to my level. "Bruno only acts like this for one reason. Hand it to me. Now." What was I supposed to do? Everyone was staring, and the dog was practically climbing the air to reach it. I gave it to her. She set it on the picnic table and peeled the wrapping back while my parents stood there, confused. Inside was a second box. Inside that, a sandwich bag of small white pills and a folded piece of paper. Even at 11 from TV, I had a bad feeling about what those were. Aunt Rosa unfolded the note, read it, and her face went to stone. Then she looked up at my dad. My mom followed her eyes. My dad had gone completely gray, and his hands were shaking. That's when I found out something I wasn't supposed to know yet. Years before I was old enough to remember, my dad had been addicted to painkillers after a bad accident at work. He'd been clean for 7 years. My mom knew. Aunt Rosa knew. I didn't. And someone from those old days knew too. The note said they knew where he lived now, and it named a sum he'd owed back then. They'd sent a man dressed as a magician to my party, using me to hand my dad a bag of pills and a threat in front of everyone, so he'd be too ashamed and scared to say no. But they made one mistake. They didn't count on my aunt and Bruno being there. Aunt Rosa bagged everything as evidence before anyone could touch it. The magician had been booked through a cheap online listing, paid in advance, but the minivan's plate got caught on our neighbor's doorbell camera. 2 weeks later, police traced it to a man my dad recognized from the worst part of his life, someone shaking down old contacts for money who'd picked my family next. He was arrested for extortion. That night, after everyone left, my dad sat me down and told me the whole truth himself, in his own words, before anyone could twist it. He said he'd spent 7 years making sure that part of him never touched me. He cried when he said it, so did I. My dad is still clean, almost 2 years now since that party, and the man who tried to use my birthday to drag him back under is still sitting in a cell.